For our stress study, we could measure so many different things. For example, preferred relaxation activity, perceived stress level, birth year, or number of semesters. Let's explore how variables are classified and why this matters for planning the study and analyzing the data. For statistical analysis, we usually need numerical data. But not every variable starts out as a number.take preferred relaxation activity. It might have three categories: sports, music, and others. To analyze them, we assign each category a number.
So for example, 1 means sports, 2 means music, 3 means others.
Exactly. But for this variable, the numbers and their order are completely arbitrary. We could just as well assign sports equal 6, music equal 3, and others equal 10. The numbers are simply codes, not quantities. Why don't you try it yourself for another variable? Let's say stress level.
Okay, we could ask students how stressed they feel and use 3 categories: low, medium, and high. To analyze them, we could assign numbers, for example, low equal 1, medium equal 2, high equal 3. Or we could even use low equal 10, medium equal 20, high equal 30. The numbers themselves aren't important.
Good. But unlike relaxation activities, here the order is not arbitrary. There's only one logical sequence, from low to medium to high. Variables like preferred relaxation activity and perceived stress level, where the numerical code can be chosen arbitrarily, are called qualitative or categorical variables. Categorical variables are measured by the kind or type of data, without any meaningful numerical difference between categories. We split categorical variables into two types: nominal and ordinal variables. Nominal variables, like preferred relaxation activity, just name categories. There's no order or ranking. So you can say if two students like the same activity or not, but you can't say one is higher or better. The only math you can do is check if values are equal or different. Ordinal variables like stress level add a bit more info because their categories follow a clear order: low, medium, high. Here you can say one student feels more stressed than another. You can compare with greater than or less than, but you still can't measure exactly how much more stressed one is compared to another. Ordinal scales contain more information than nominal scales because they show a meaningful order among categories. But the most detailed info comes from metric variables. Metric scales describe variables that come from counting or measurement processes. These variables, also known as quantitative variables, allow us to calculate meaningful differences between values. We can also use basic arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, and comparison to analyze them. Metric scales are divided into two main types: interval scales and ratio scales. In our stress study, the birth year of students is a perfect example of an interval variable. The difference between years is meaningful. For example, 2000 to 2010 is 10 years, but there is no true 0 point because year 0 is just a reference, not the absence of time. That means we can calculate differences, but saying someone born in 2000 is twice as something as someone born in 1000 doesn't make sense. On the other hand, the number of semesters a student has completed is a ratio variable. Here, 0 means the student hasn't started studying yet, a true 0 point. The intervals between semesters are equal and ratios are meaningful. A student with 6 semesters has studied twice as long as someone with 3. All arithmetic operations, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, make sense with ratio variables.
Could we do a quick quiz? It would really help me check if I'm getting it right.
Great idea! I'll show you some variables and you try to identify their scale types. Feel free to pause the video to think it over before we explain. Ready?
Ready.
Let's see if you got it right. First up, hours of sleep per night.
That's ratio. 0 means no sleep, and all math operations apply.
Exactly. Next, let's look at accommodation type, categorized as dormitory, shared apartment, or others.
Nominal scale, since these are just categories without any intrinsic order.
Spot on. How about date of exam?
Interval scale. The differences between dates matter, but 0 doesn't mean no date.
Perfect. Next up, measure satisfaction on a 3-point scale: dissatisfied, neutral, satisfied.
Ordinal, because the order matters but the gaps aren't equal.
Exactly right. And finally, number of stress symptoms reported.
Ratio scale. It's a count starting at 0.
Brilliant! You nailed them all. Knowing these scales helps you choose the right stats to truly understand your data. We've seen that variables can hold different amounts of information. At the bottom of the scale are nominal variables. They carry the least information. At the top are metric variables, which give us the most detail. Now here's something important. A variable with more information can always be converted into one with less, but it comes at a cost. You lose information. However, the reverse transformation is not possible. Take number of semesters studied. Measured on a metric scale, it gives the most precise information. If we grouped it into classes, for example, 1 to 5 semesters, 6 to 10 semesters, and more than 10, we'd have an ordinal variable. We could even make it nominal by only recording whether the number of semesters is below or above the standard study duration, say 6 semesters. That extra detail is gone for good, which is why deciding on the right scale level is such a crucial step in planning a study.
So, after all these examples, I'm starting to see that scale types are more than just labels.
Exactly. The scale type of a variable is like its DNA. Choosing the right scale is one of the most important steps in study planning. It affects everything from design to analysis to interpretation.
Makes sense. I'll be sure to get it right next time.
Great! Even small details like scale types can have a big impact on good research.